Hey, Luke Stein here. I wanted to show you a couple of different ways to get overlays onto your live stream, onto your webcam, a virtual cam, a screen share for something like a Zoom meeting, or onto a slide display in a room that you're presenting in. So this would work with something like overlays from John Barker's H2R Graphics, his gfx.live, which is the online analog of that tool, something like Steve Seguin's chat overlay, social stream tool for getting live chats onto the screen, or a commercial product like Singular Uno. But what I'm going to show you is using a cool new thing from Lucas Herman, which is called Stage Timer React. So the idea with Stage Timer Reacts is you get a URL that you can send out to your viewers, and they can open this on a phone or on a computer, and when they click the emoji buttons, they sort of scroll up. Now, of course, here they are coming up on the web page as they click them, but we want to overlay those emoji themselves onto our camera or other feed. So one way to do that is using OBS. I'm just going to create a simple scene that starts with a webcam. You could, of course, have a more complex scene design here, but I'm going to start with just the Keo Razr webcam, and I'm going to use that as a background layer. And then I can just drag a URL from the web browser into OBS to get it as a browser overlay. If I do it with this version over here on the right, it's not going to look very good. But if I click on the background here to cycle through the different background colors, I can get a transparent background, which is what I'm looking for. And so now if I grab, let's hide the buttons. And if I get this URL here and I just drag it over into OBS, it is going to show up as an overlay. And you can see now that any emoji that I click over here are going to show up. Now there's a little bit of UI cruft down there in the lower left-hand corner. So let's double click on this and add at the end of the URL and hide -UI equals 1. And once we've done that, we should be able to control the emoji, or anyone in our audience can control the emoji. And we can send this OBS scene out either on stream, or we can send this OBS feed out to a recording or as a virtual camera. So that's the first way that we're going to do that, is using OBS. Second technique is going to be to actually key this feed over our video stream using a video switcher or keying device like the ATEM. So I've got an ATEM Mini Extreme plugged in here, and I am going to use an Amazon Firestick, and in particular, I'm going to use the built-in web browser in that Amazon Firestick. And what I've done is I've got a URL set up there that is going to use a green screen version. So if I keep clicking through background, I can get a URL that has a green screen. Now this thing is kind of ugly for typing in to the Fire Stick, but if I use a link shortener, I can get that thing in there and set up a bookmark for it. And once I've done that, I can open this thing up in the built-in web browser in the Amazon Fire Stick. And now I've got that keyed out, ready to go. So the controller is sending the emoji. In a moment, you'll note the cursor disappears from the corner of the web browser. And so now what I need to do is, in my ATEM software, I just need to set up a key. I've got this thing set up as a Chromakey on USK3. And so once I turn that key on, that should now be overlaying my feed like this. And so I can do this overlaying a screen share or overlaying a camera a variety of different ways. And that thing works kind of nicely. Okay, last way of doing this, which is the way that I would probably set up if I were actually trying to present slides in, say, a Zoom meeting, or if I were going to actually try to show this overlay on slides in the room. So I've turned off the Chromakey. We're not involving the Fire Stick anymore. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a cool tool also from Steve Seguin called Electron Capture. And what Electron Capture does is it gives you a full screen web browser that overlays the stuff on your desktop. You can see I've put the URL for Stage Timer Reactions in there with transparency. And when I hit go, it's going to open that thing up in a window you can't see other than the logo in the corner because of the transparency. But if we right click on it, we can resize the window to be full screen. We can right click again, and we can say we want to put this always on top so that it shows on top of, say, a PowerPoint presentation. And then finally, I'm going to right click and do make unclickable until in focus. And that's going to allow my mouse and keyboard to get passed through straight through to my presentation software for slide control. So now if I click, I'm not affecting the Electron Capture window. I'm just going straight through to my desktop. And so I can take, say, a PowerPoint slide deck, and I can put that into presenter view on this monitor. And so if I click on the presenter button, I've now got my slide deck, which I'm presenting, and I can flip through for folks, and anyone in the audience can click on those emoji reaction, and they're going to get overlaid. And this would go out either on a projector in the room or on a Zoom screen share. So 3 cool ways to get overlays. OBS is the first. The second is using a physical video keyer and perhaps an Amazon Fire Stick's built-in web browser. And then finally, using the Electron Capture from Steve Seguin in order to actually draw the transparent browser window right over your screen share. Take care.